about Sid, it says that you would like to discuss grief as a new atheist. That's a pretty common issue. I'm sorry to hear that, Sid. You're on with Jen and Anthony.
Hello, Sid.
Yes. Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm like such a fan of the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would like
So
to
am I.
brief. Like my dad, he died about 4 years ago, and I've been an atheist for, I would say, most of my life. But I did, grow up in a Muslim family, so it's been kind of difficult.
Do you mind if I ask what it is you'd like us to discuss today?
Just how you guys process grief, like if you guys had any death in the family or anything like that you guys went through, like a parent or someone close.
Yeah. I actually just 6 months ago, or 5 months ago, actually lost my father-in-law, and he and I were getting very, very close. Like he's become another father figure to me. So this is the first death that I've really experienced like hardcore grief from since becoming an atheist, especially. And the way that I kind of look at it, instead of telling myself, oh, well, he's in heaven or purgatory, what I do is I remind myself that the way that we keep people alive is by talking about them, sharing memories, by remembering them. And so anytime I have a memory about my father-in-law, I share it with somebody who knew him or somebody that I care about, or even just a friend that I'm with at the time, and say, oh, this reminds me of this, because that keeps him alive in my head. And I think that's as real as anybody, if that makes any sense, if I didn't sound too woo.
Doesn't sound woo to me. Yeah. Yeah. The remnants of the relationship are usually laying around. They're photographs, like in addition to the memories that you have of them. Ornaments, like I noticed Jenna has her Christmas tree. After this, I'm going to go and we're going to put ornaments on our Christmas tree. And sure enough, there will be ornaments that were given to us from people who are no longer with us that literally made the ornaments that we're putting on the tree. And just maybe that idea of just taking a couple of seconds to remember them is good enough for me. Like they and maybe even thinking like the impact that they had, maybe something that they did for you that stays with you today. That's probably one of the best ways that we can honor them. It's tempting to think that I'm going to see them again. It's something that a lot of theists think is the case. Sometimes a lot of atheists, especially if they were believers, that's something that they struggle with, this idea, like the caller about the soul. It would be nice to see these loved ones again. It doesn't seem like that happens. So I guess I'm comfortable with the idea that I'm not going to see these loved ones again, but I have remnants of the relationship that I did have with them, and that's good enough for me. And I couldn't ask for. I mean, what else would I really need? I mean, I'm fine with that.
I was just going to add one more thing, is that, I'm a total nerd, and I'm really obsessed with Disney. And there's a second Mary Poppins that's come out, Mary Poppins Returns. And there's a song that Emily Blunt sings about to these kids who have lost their mother. And she says that you can find her in the place where the lost things are. Now, it's very imaginary, but you can go to the place where the lost things are in your dreams. So it's not like you can never see these people again. When you go to sleep, when you have these memories, you can literally see them in your head. And so I think that's when imagination becomes useful, is when you understand that you're using it to cope with things like this.
Yeah, that's the tough part for me. Like, I just want to add one more thing. Like, with the loss, like, I don't know, it started to, because like I had some belief in God before, and when I had the loss, it felt like half of myself died. Like, and I started to like get into like beliefs in souls and things like that. I'm like, man, like maybe a part of me died with him, and then I have some kind of like idea that maybe there's an afterlife, because like I'm an atheist, like I don't believe in God at all, but at the same time, like I'm like, is it a possibility? And I think some days like maybe there's a possibility that maybe I'm not gonna see him again, but maybe there's an afterlife where he's somewhere, doing well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice concept. It's a nice idea. Although there are some people that have passed that meeting them again in a future would you call that? Like an afterlife is not very appealing to me. There's some people that I really wouldn't want to ever see again, but these loved ones, yeah, like they were foundational to who I am, and they were foundational to who you are. And it could be tough to acknowledge that, gosh, I'm probably not going to ever see this person again. So, honoring them with a song or perseverating on them to the point when you're falling asleep, maybe to inspire a dream. I've never considered that as an option. Might be fun to try.
Yeah, maybe next time I'll go fishing, I'll think about them. But thank you guys for having me on. I hope you guys have a great day. Anthony and Jenna.
Thank you,
Sid.
Hopefully
Great call.
things
Appreciate
get a
it.
little easier.